How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is running its massive Black Friday sale, and here we have deals under the price of $10. Of course, we're going to be looking at some of the games under $10, but not everything, so we'll probably do another video in the future. We'll do under 5, all that stuff, but let's get right into it, and let's talk the deals that are available right now. First of all, AI the SOMNIUM files is 80% off for $7.99. Spike Chunsoft titles are right up my alley. I am super into these narrative-driven titles, visual novel-esque anime-style titles. Really wasn't my cup of tea for a long time, but then playing Danganronpa, man, did I get hooked on these games. And AI the SOMNIUM files is a really, really good one. Awesome main character in Kaname. The story is super interesting, a lot of mystery, a lot of twists and turns. The dream sequences are interesting as well. Really good presentation, soundtrack is good, and if you're into visual novels, or you want to give the genre a shot, like, this isn't a bad one to start with because, you know, visually it still looks fairly pleasing. I think for $7.99, it's a really good pickup, and again, if you're a fan of story-driven titles, if you like that anime aesthetic, AI the SOMNIUM files is one very much worthwhile checking out. There was a sequel released in Nirvana Initiative, but that still holds up in price. That game's pretty good, but the first one, in my opinion, is the best one, so $7.99 for that can't be that. Next up, we have the Evil Within 1, and we'll give a shout out to Evil Within 2. They are both on sale, and you can get Evil Within 1 for $5.99. That's the digital bundle, and then the Evil Within 2 is $5.99 as well. Evil Within 2 available on Plus Extra if you do want to play it that way, but both games are really solid horror titles, great atmospheres, which I always talk about how that's important. With the digital bundle for Evil Within 1, you also do get the Season Pass content, the DLC, all that good stuff, so $6 for that is quite good. I personally enjoyed Evil Within 2 more, but that seems to be a little bit of a opinion that a lot of people don't agree with. Both games are really solid. I would recommend them, and if you're into horror games, obviously at this price point, no-brainer there. Next up, we have the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition, 80% off for $7.99. This is upgraded on PlayStation 5. Look, Skyrim's gonna be a game that I always recommend. It's gonna really suck if Elder Scrolls 6 is not available on PlayStation, whatever PlayStation platform it is, but you know what? Let's just make it to the release of Elder Scrolls 6 alive before we even talk about that, because that's probably, you know, it could be close to a decade away, so, like, why even talk about that? Let's talk about Skyrim, which I think is a fantastic game. I played this back on the PlayStation 3 when it initially came out, and guys, the PlayStation 3 version of Skyrim was a literal abomination, but I still loved the game and completed it. Really enjoyed my time with it on there. Obviously, you gotta play it on PC, but if you don't have a PC, the PlayStation 5 version is a good shot as well. The special edition gives you a lot of bonus content as well, so that's quite nice. And Skyrim itself is, in my opinion, the best Bethesda outing, and since Skyrim's release, Bethesda's been pretty inconsistent as a whole. Like, Fallout 4 was good, but not great. Fallout 76, obviously, a train wreck when it initially came out, and Starfield, I liked, but, really, it wasn't at the level of Skyrim, and Skyrim still holds a special place in my heart, and if you've never played it, like, at this point, it is a game that came out back in 2011, so a lot of, you know, newer gamers don't have that nostalgic feel for Skyrim, but if you're one of those, you should go back and give it a shot. $8 is a great deal. Next up, we have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It is 80% off for $7.99. I often talk about how Jedi Survivor is among my favorite games of the year. That still holds true. I think the game is better than Jedi Fallen Order, but Jedi Fallen Order is good in its own right, and it's got a great PlayStation 5 upgrade. See the story of Cal Kestis really start to form with Fallen Order, and like, Cal at the start of Jedi Survivor, like, he's already a seasoned Jedi. In this game, he's really finding his footing, and it's nice to see the character progression throughout the games, and ultimately, hopefully, what happens in the third Jedi game. But this is a good game. There are some issues with it. I thought the map design, as far as the actual, like, map that you look at, awful, just absolutely terrible. Like, I can't even get past how terrible it is, and if you go online, like, a lot of people agree with that notion that the map in this game is so bad. It's just an abomination. They really fix it up in Jedi Survivor, but in Fallen Order, terrible, terrible. I just can't stop talking about how terrible it is, but yes, outside of that, the gameplay is great, visuals are great, $7.99 is a good buy, definitely would give that a look. Next up, we have Immortals Fenyx Rising, 85% off for $9. Now, I don't think as highly of this Ubisoft title as most people, but I will give credit where credit is due with Fenyx Rising because it is a lot different than a lot of other Ubisoft games, especially their open world titles. Aesthetically, it's going to be a game that its presentation is either you're going to really like it or it's not going to be for you. For me, I wasn't really super into the super colorful look. The comedy really didn't hit with me, but gameplay-wise, there's definitely stuff to like with Immortals Fenyx Rising. There was a sequel in development, unfortunately. Seems like that got the can, so, you know, what can you do? But I would say for $9, it's a pretty good buy. There is bonus content in the game, so if you want everything, you have to pick up the gold edition, but that's not even on sale right now, and it's $100, so, like, don't even pick that up. I would just stick with the base game, like, $9 for that is perfectly serviceable, so go check that out. Speaking of Ubisoft titles, Watch Dogs 2 Deluxe Edition is 85% off for $9. I believe this game recently got pulled from PlayStation Plus Extra as well. Watch Dogs 2 I thought was a really solid game. You know, Watch Dogs 1 had an enormous amount of hype leading into its release. Ubisoft really had the opportunity to establish Watch Dogs at the level of Assassin's Creed, maybe even bigger than Assassin's Creed, and me saying that now is probably like, bro, you're taking that too far, but go back. You can't really appreciate how much hype Watch Dogs 1 had. The hype to Watch Dogs 1 was astronomical, and I feel like people don't remember how crazy it was. Unfortunately, Watch Dogs 1 was a bit of a disappointment. There was aspects certainly to like, but Watch Dogs 2 really refined the experience and improved it from a gameplay standpoint. I wasn't crazy about the narrative, but Watch Dogs 2 is a really solid game, and I often say Watch Dogs 2 was kind of like what Assassin's Creed 2 was for Assassin's Creed, in that AC1 left a lot of people disappointed, but AC2 changed some things and made it a lot more accessible. It felt like Watch Dogs 2 did a lot of that, and it was a rather good game. Unfortunately, AC2 revitalized AC. Not that AC really needed the revitalization even after AC1, but it continued to build off AC2. Feel like Watch Dogs didn't have that same treatment in the sense that Watch Dogs 2 came out, it didn't do blow-away numbers, and then Legion was what it was, but I digress. Watch Dogs 2 for $9, great deal, and this is the Deluxe Edition, by the way, so you'll get some bonus content there. Next up, we have Mafia Definitive Edition, 75% off for $9.99. Always recommend this game. You know, in an era of gaming where we're talking about so many games being 50, 100, 150 hours, I know you guys got disgustingly huge backlogs. Sometimes it's nice to sit down and play a game that's 8 to 10 hours and having a really quality experience that tells a good story, has great voice acting. Gameplay, it's a little bit dated at this point, given that this is a refined version of a PS2 title. It is a full-on remake. Like, you look at this game visually and it looks quite good, but I think for $9.99 it's quite good. Obviously, go play Mafia 2. That was a Plus Essential title recently. Mafia 3 is decent, and Mafia 4 is reportedly in development right now, so that'll be pretty exciting as well. Hopefully that turns out well, but we'll see how that ultimately does. Next up, we have South Park: The Stick of Truth, 75% off for $7.49. Now, I'm not a big South Park guy. I haven't watched much South Park. I watched the special that came out a few years ago. Nothing against it. I actually find it kind of humorous, but checked out South Park: The Stick of Truth when it came out back in the fall of 2013, and I was honestly blown away by how much I liked that game. Now, first of all, I thought it was very funny, and I, again, don't have that affinity towards South Park, so if you're a South Park fan, you'll like this game even more. The presentation style, obviously, if you're a South Park fan, you'll love it. And fundamentally, it's a well-made RPG. Like, that's the funniest thing about this game, because you think about it, it's a freaking South Park game. And then, like, mechanically, it's a well-made game. And you know what? It's done by Obsidian, so you should expect it to be a well-made game. Back in 2013, I really had no idea who Obsidian was, so I didn't have that reference point. But, yeah, the game turned out great. Obviously, Fractured But Whole exists as well. But Stick of Truth for $7.49. Great pickup there. Certainly recommend that. Next up, we have Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, 83% off for $5.09. Really timely mention here. A lot of talk about Dragon's Dogma. Dragon's Dogma 2 may be that game from Capcom that they had talked about that they didn't announce a release window for, and it might be the early 2024 game that they're saying is expected to sell millions, because the reports are it might be coming out in March. And, you know, we'll talk about that if that actually gets confirmed, but Capcom just confirmed a showcase. Wild to think about how insane, excuse me, did I say 2023? 2024, the years are starting to blend. How insane early 2024 is going to be for gaming after the whirlwind of a 2023 we had. Dragon's Dogma 1 came out back in early 2012, then Dark Arisen came out a year after that, added an expansion and added more content. Dragon's Dogma was a good game, had some technical limitations on PS3, that's remedied a lot on the PS4. Game is good. Really challenging, a good bit of content, and a lot of unique mechanics as well. If you're a fan of the Souls games, you'll really dig this as well. Excited for Dragon's Dogma 2. Nice to see a game like this get a sequel, but if you want to know why it's anticipated, you should play Dragon's Dogma 1. And lastly, Prey Digital Deluxe Edition is 80% off for $7.99. Think this is quite a good deal given that you get Prey the base game, Moon Crash, and Typhon Hunter. Prey is a super underrated game in my opinion. It does not get the love that it deserves, and this is done by the branch of Arcane that also did the world-renowned Redfall. Yeah, Bethesda, you probably should have just let Arcane do a sequel to this game or something, you know, more similar to this game instead of, you know, trying to push them down the live service nonsense. But nonetheless, Prey 2017 was a great game, incredible atmosphere. The vibes to the game were really strong in terms of tone. I thought they did a really good job, more of a psychological game. Not super lengthy, but does have a decent bit of content, all things considered. Fascinating story for this price point. I think it's great and certainly would recommend you to check it out. So definitely give that a buy as well. But that is going to do it for me. Again, this is the initial portion of the under $10 games we're going to look at. We still got to get to under $5. Obviously, there's going to be more under $10. And really, I feel like the bulk of the quality deals from the Black Friday sale, as is the case every year, is the games at the higher price thresholds, but I know you guys are cheap like me, so yeah, I wanted to do this video first, but check it out. Definitely like a deal that I would definitely recommend. AI the Somnium files like $7.99. That's why I mentioned it right off the top. That's just a great narrative-driven title. Doesn't get enough love, and obviously I never expect the Spike Chunsoft games to be like super mainstream, world-renowned games or anything like that, but if I can do my part in getting more people to play them, that's a job well done by me. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.